Welcome, fellow explorers, to the Deep Dive. Today we're revving our intellectual engines for a journey that asks one of life's most intriguing questions, really. Is there a ghost in the machine?
It's a great question to kick things off.
Yeah, we're embarking on this philosophical road trip, not just across America, but deep into the human psyche with Robert M. Pirsig. He's the mind behind that modern classic, Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance.
And it's such a compelling question, isn't it? Pirsig is really grappling with this core tension
Yeah.
that's kind of plagued Western thought for ages.
Right, this big split.
Yeah, the perceived chasm between, let's say, subjective experience, art, intuition, spirit, and objective reality science, tech, pure reason.
And he didn't just see it in abstract philosophy, did he?
No, not at all. He saw it playing out in really practical terms, even in how people approached something as, well, mechanical as their motorcycle.
Oh, yeah.
Well, some people felt the machine. They connected to it intuitively, almost spiritually. They understood its inherent rightness or wrongness. Others just saw it as a cold collection of parts, something to be analyzed and fixed purely by logic.
Like two totally different ways of relating to the same thing.
Exactly. And that fundamental split is really the jumping off point for his huge philosophical exploration, his Chautauqua.
That's right, the Chautauqua. And our mission today is to sort of untangle that Pirsig's really unique narrative device. He blends his actual cross-country motorcycle trip with these deep philosophical explorations.
It's a journey across America, for sure. But just as much, it's a deep dive inside his own mind.
Yeah, to try and understand this elusive but really profound concept he called quality.
Hmm.
And look, this isn't just about motorcycles or even philosophy just for its own sake. Pirsig's whole metaphysics of quality, it's about finding a unifying principle, something he thought could bridge these classic divides.
Right. Something that helps us find deeper meaning in how we engage with the world, how we care for its mechanics. And, well, our own lives, too. Making the mundane meaningful.
That's the core of it.
And what's really fascinating here is how Pirsig's search for this fundamental quality, this pre-intellectual grasp of worth or goodness, it echoes through so many different traditions.
You see it everywhere once you start looking.
Absolutely. We can trace these connections from ancient philosophy and spiritual practices right through to practical arts. It shows that this hunt for a deeper, unifying truth, it's not new. It cuts across centuries, cultures, disciplines.
It's a deeply human thing.
Totally.
So why should you, listening right now, care about Pirsig's quality in your daily life?
Well, because getting a handle on it can fundamentally shift how you approach things, your work, your relationships.
Even just boring daily tasks, right?
Absolutely. In a world that feels so overloaded with information, so fragmented sometimes, Pirsig offers this really powerful framework.
Like a way to cut through the noise.
Kind of. It's a shortcut, maybe not to less engagement, but to focusing on what truly matters. It helps you tap into those aha moments.
The ones that bring clarity and satisfaction.
Exactly. That genuine satisfaction. It's about not just doing things, but doing them well, with a deeper sense of connection, recognizing that inherent value.
Bringing care, meaning that sense of rightness into everything.
That's the promise. Anyway.
Okay, so to really get what Pirsig was offering, we first need to understand the problem he was trying so hard to solve. Let's dive into part one. What he saw as this deep division, the problem a world divided, a self divided.
Right. And Pirsig's central struggle, it really boils down to this chasm he saw in our thinking, this huge split between two ways of experiencing the world, the romantic and the classical.
Okay, unpack those terms for us. How did he define romantic?
So the romantic individual, as Pirsig lays it out, experiences the motorcycle, say, as a whole. They're feeling the wind, hearing the engines hum, loving the freedom of the road.
It's about the feeling, the experience itself.
Exactly. The machine is almost an extension of their spirit. It's an aesthetic thing, enjoyed intuitively. They see the forest, but maybe not the individual trees if something breaks.
They take it to a mechanic. They don't want to get bogged down in the details.
Pretty much. They don't want to get their hands dirty or understand the nuts and bolts.
And the classical perspective, then? That's the opposite.
It's the flip side. This person sees the motorcycle as, well, an assembly of objective parts, governed by scientific principles.
They want the specs. Engine displacement, valve timings.
Gear ratios, the metallurgy. Yeah. They want to understand how it works, analyze it, categorize every bit. For them, the beauty isn't in the feeling, it's in the elegant engineering, the rational design.
So they see the trees, the components, but maybe miss the overall feeling of the ride.
That's the idea. If it breaks, they grab the manual, strip it down, fix it with precise, logical steps. They see the trees, but maybe miss the beauty of the whole forest, that integrated experience.
Pirsig wasn't saying one was better than the other, though, was he?
No, not at all. He saw both as valid, absolutely necessary even. The problem, as he saw it, wasn't that these two ways existed. It was that they were seen as mutually exclusive, almost at war with each other.
And that leads us right back to that opening question, the ghost in the machine.
Exactly. And that's not just a catchy phrase for him. It's his metaphor for that unacknowledged something more.
That intangible thing.
Yeah, that often ignored dimension beyond just the purely mechanistic, objective explanations. He felt that by reducing everything just to its material parts and scientific functions, we systematically ignore a crucial aspect of reality: its value, its quality.
The inherent worth that our intellect struggles to quantify, but our gut, our experience, just grasps immediately.
Right. And when we lose sight of this ghost, this sense of intrinsic value, well, everything can start to feel meaningless.
Like that quote from William James talking about Tolstoy.
Oh, absolutely. James, in The Varieties of Religious Experience, describes Tolstoy hitting this radical crisis. His life, once enchanting and full of purpose, suddenly became, James quotes Tolstoy saying it was flat sober, more than sober, dead. Things were meaningless whose meaning had always been self-evident.
Wow, that's chilling. That feeling of unreality, of meaninglessness that can creep in when a purely scientific reductionist view takes over, when it denies or ignores that ghost.
It leaves us alienated from our own experience, and this perceived split between subjective and objective, romantic and classical, it has real, often damaging consequences, both societally and personally.
Let's talk about the societal part first. How does this division cause problems on a larger scale?
Well, it leads to this profound disconnect, a fragmentation of understanding and purpose in society. The anthropologist Mary Douglas, in her work God Is Not One, she makes this brilliant point about what she calls category busters.
Category busters, what are those?
Things that don't fit neatly into our established boxes. She talks about lobsters in ancient Hebrew dietary law, for instance. They weren't clearly land, sea, or air creatures, or in some contexts, homosexuality. These things caused unease not because they were inherently bad, but because they defied simple classification.
Okay, they messed with the system.
Exactly, and that's precisely what Pirsig was getting at with quality. He saw that society struggles immensely with concepts that don't fit neatly into the art box or the science box.
Quality was a category buster.
Totally. People didn't know how to define it scientifically, how to measure it. It made them uncomfortable. This inability to integrate reflects how a rigid, categorizing mind struggles with unifying concepts. It just pushes them aside.
And the result is a society that tends to value either cold facts or emotional expression, but rarely sees how they might be deeply connected.
Right. And on a personal level, this divide can cause this deep fragmentation within us. It's that constant struggle to unify our intellect and our emotions, our big sense of purpose, and our day-to-day actions.
James Baldwin talked about something like this, didn't he? In The Fire Next Time.
He did, beautifully and painfully. He describes his own faith crumbling when he was confronted with intellectual questions about the Bible's origins, and especially the massive gap between the stated beliefs and the actual behavior he saw in his church community.
The disconnect.
A profound disconnect, where what you intellectually preach and what you emotionally or morally live become two tragically separate things. It creates this deep internal rift, a sense of hypocrisy, maybe even despair. Pirsig knew that feeling very well from his own struggles.
Which brings us to another really critical point Pirsig identified: the limits of pure intellect and ego, when they're just left unchecked.
Yes. Think about that description in Theologia Germanica of a false natural light.
What's that?
It's described as an intellect that becomes so impressed with its own knowledge, its own power, that it mistakenly thinks it fully understands God, or the simple truth.
Intellectual arrogance, basically.
Exactly. This false light imagines itself to be God, sets itself above everything, even ethics, even deeper intuitive understanding. It perfectly mirrors Pirsig's concern about a purely rational, ego-driven approach that misses the deeper truths because it's too busy admiring its own reflection.
That kind of intellectual hubris.
Yeah.
It sounds like it could actually block wisdom, not lead to it.
Well, Ram Dass certainly thought so. In Be Here Now, he says directly that the influence of the guru is obstructed by mental activity. by reliance on one's own exertions and by every kind of self-consciousness and self-exertion.
So our ego and just constant mental chatter get in the way.
That's the idea. They prevent us from connecting to something deeper, some guiding principle, which sounds a lot like Pirsig's quality, doesn't it? It's like a barrier we build ourselves with our own noise and attachment to being clever.
And this isn't just a personal problem. This unchecked intellect, especially combined with technology, Pirsig saw potential danger there too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Conversations with God gives this really stark warning. Advanced technology without advanced thought creates not advancement, but demise.
Wow, demise.
Yeah, it even suggests a past civilization on Earth destroyed itself precisely because its technological evolution was so far ahead of its spiritual evolution that it wound up making technology its god.
That's a direct echo of the danger Pirsig was pointing to. Pursuing science and tech mastery without some underlying wisdom, without quality.
Without a sense of purpose or understanding of our place, it can be self-destructive, lead to emptiness, or just straight-up ruin.
And it's not just about grand civilizations ending. This intellectual over-effort shows up in our individual lives too, like that idea of the overthinking mind.
Right. The Tao of Pu nails this. It observes that man has developed a mind that separates him from the world of reality, the world of natural laws.
How so?
This mind tries too hard, wears itself out, and ends up weak and sloppy. All that constant processing and analyzing, paradoxically, it makes us less effective, more disconnected from the natural flow.
Which is exactly what Pirsig's search for quality is trying to push back against.
Precisely. It's a call to re-engage with reality directly, not just analyze it to death. To find an efficiency that comes from harmony, not just mental brute force.
Okay, so we've laid out the problem. This deep division, this fragmentation missing the ghost. The big question then is, how do we fix it? What's Pirsig's answer? This leads us to part 2, discovering quality, the unifying principle.
Right. So what is this thing called quality? And why is it so slippery, so hard to pin down?
Pirsig's basic idea is that quality is something you experience before your mind starts slicing and dicing, right? Before analysis kicks in.
Exactly. It's not a thing, not even really a thought in the usual sense. It's the immediate pre-intellectual apprehension of worth or goodness. He even suggests it's the source of everything, the cutting edge of reality.
That's a huge claim.
It is. It challenges our fundamental way of understanding because he posits quality as existing before the subject-object split.
Meaning before we separate ourselves as the observer from the thing you were observing.
Yes, or before we separate the thing itself from our idea of the thing. It's the direct, unmediated hit of value. Think about trying to define chairness by listing legs, seat, back.
You're describing parts, but not the essential chairness.
Exactly. Quality for Pirsig is that irreducible essence. And this elusive nature, it pops up in a lot of mystical or spiritual traditions too. Theologia Germanica says the perfect, which seems very close to quality or the absolute, cannot be apprehended, known, or expressed by any creature as creature.
You can't bottle it in words.
Right. It's none of these specific things we try to name or conceptualize. Our attempts to define it with our limited tools actually push us further away from grasping it directly.
Which maybe explains that phrase from The Cloud of Unknowing.
Oh,
The blind shot of longing love.
oh, that's such a beautiful, evocative image, yes. That text says God, or the absolute truth, is hid between them contraries, and may not be found by any work of thy soul, but only by love of thine heart.
Not by thinking, but by loving.
It's a blind shot with the sharp dart of longing love that hits the prick, the which is God. It's pointing to an intuitive, non-rational way to connect with ultimate truth. Very much like Pirsig's quality, something felt, experienced, loved, rather than dissected and defined by reason alone.
Opening the heart, not just the intellect.
Precisely. And this idea of immediate apprehension, of inherent nature that exists before we slap labels on it. The Tao of Pu gets at this so simply.
With Winnie the Pooh, seriously.
Absolutely. The book talks about inner nature and the Coddleston Pie principle, which basically says things are as they are.
Okay.
It suggests true understanding comes from recognizing the inherent nature of things, which, as the book says, cannot be fooled, unlike our brains, which love to overcomplicate and misinterpret.
So it connects back to quality being this intrinsic property, something there before we mess with it intellectually.
Exactly. It's about seeing the true, unadulterated essence. Just like Pirsig saw, when a good mechanic instinctively knows a part is right or wrong, even before they measure it, they're sensing its quality directly.
Okay, this is where it starts to feel really transformative, how this concept of quality acts as a bridge. unifying these big dualities, art and science, spirit and technology.
Right, and the Bhagavad Gita actually gives us a fantastic lens for seeing this interdependence. It outlines two main paths to self-realization.
Which are?
First, there's Sankhya Yoga, that's empirical, philosophical speculation, using intellectual inquiry, analysis.
The classical path, maybe?
You could map it that way, yes. And second, there's Karma Yoga or Buddha Yoga, that's devotional service, focused on action, purpose, devotion.
More like the romantic path.
Potentially, yes. But here's the crucial part. The Gita doesn't pick one. It says, religion without philosophy is sentiment, or sometimes fanaticism, while philosophy without religion is mental speculation. The ultimate goal is kink, or the ultimate reality.
So you need both. You need the inquiry and the devotion, the head and the heart working together.
Absolutely. It demands a holistic approach, and that's exactly what Pirsig's quality tries to embody. He saw quality as the missing link that could unite these paths.
How so?
Quality makes scientific action purposeful, and it grounds artistic intuition in reality. Without that philosophical underpinning, devotion can become just, blind feeling. And without devotion or a sense of purpose, without quality, philosophy can just become dry mental games.
Creating that flat, sober, dead world Tolstoy felt.
Precisely. Quality is the glue. It provides the inherent value that makes both intellectual and practical pursuits meaningful.
And this idea of an underlying unity, where subjective and objective are maybe just two sides of one coin, others have explored this too.
Definitely. Think of Teilhard de Chardin, the Jesuit paleontologist and philosopher. In The Phenomenon of Man, he talks about the within of things.
The within.
Yeah, the psychic or internal element of existence. He suggested it has the same kind of structure, the same granulation as matter itself. He argued the world's two aspects, external and internal, correspond point by point.
Wow. So the inner life and the outer material world aren't totally separate.
That's his radical idea. It maps directly onto Pirsig's quality as this underlying unity. Pirsig would say the within of the machine, its inherent goodness or badness, its quality isn't separate from its without, its physical nuts and bolts. Desjardins even speculated that consciousness eventually becomes coextensive with the universe, all converging on a single point, omega.
Suggesting a unified field of awareness and existence. That's mind-bending.
It really is. It implies that the sharp line we draw between mind and matter might be, in a deep sense, artificial. And this unity isn't just some abstract idea, it's something you can experience and cultivate through discipline. Like Miyamoto Musashi.
The legendary samurai.
The very same. In The Complete Musashi, he describes mastering swordsmanship not just as fighting techniques, but as a magnificent way applicable to the principles of all things.
A way, like a path.
Exactly. He's not just talking about a skill, he's talking about a universal principle underlying all effective, high-quality action. He talks about finding the center, the universally correct way.
Sounds very Pirsigian.
It does. He even mentions ether, or emptiness, not as nihilism, but as high attainment and clarity, like a boundless clear sky you reach after cutting through the clouds of confusion.
So practical discipline, like sword fighting or fixing a motorcycle, when done with deep understanding, it becomes a path to universal truth.
That's the connection. It unifies the physical skill with profound insight, which is exactly what Pirsig was aiming for with quality in mechanical work. It's not just about fixing the carburetor. It's about seeing the inherent rightness, the excellence in the act of care itself, connecting the practical to the profound.
You know when the work is right. You feel it.
You feel it. You're tapped into that magnificent way, that quality.
Okay, that paints a powerful picture of integration, moving from fragmentation to a holistic view. But understanding quality intellectually is one thing. How do we actually live it? How do we bring this into our daily lives? That takes us to part 3, the path to quality inner work and outer action.
Right. And it absolutely starts with cultivating our inner landscape. You can't perceive quality out there if things are chaotic in here.
So inner work first, what does that involve?
Well, a huge piece is purification and letting go. The Dark Night of the Soul, that classic by St. John of the Cross, describes this inflowing of God into the soul.
An inflow.
Yeah, and this process purges the soul from its ignorances and imperfections, both habitual and spiritual. It prepares it for union of love with God.
Sounds intense. He talks about grief and torment, doesn't he?
He does. It's often not a pleasant process, but it's seen as essential for shedding the superficial, the ego-driven stuff, all the attachments and preconceptions that cloud our perception of true quality. You need to clear the space for it.
Pirsig's own breakdown, which he talks about in the book, maybe that was a kind of painful purification for him.
You could absolutely see it that way. An intensely painful but maybe ultimately necessary experience that cleared the ground for his philosophical insights.
And this isn't just a mystical thing, right? It relates to psychological growth, too.
Totally. The untethered soul puts it in very direct terms. It suggests that life is actually trying to help you by stimulating growth. Those difficult things that happen, they're not just obstacles.
They're prompts for growth.
Exactly. The book says you don't have to decide who's right or wrong. You only have to be willing to open your heart and permit the purification process to take place.
So letting go of resistance, letting go of the ego's need to control or be right, that opens us up.
It opens us to a higher quality of being. It's allowing ourselves to be shaped, refined by life, rather than constantly fighting it.
And this purification process, it seems closely linked to humility and self-awareness.
Deeply intertwined. The top 7 Catholic classics really emphasizes this. It says, true merits are not to be reckoned by many visions or consolations, but that he is grounded upon true humility and filled with divine charity.
So it's not about flashy spiritual experiences or intellectual fireworks.
No, it echoes Pirsig's critique of that false natural light, that intellectual arrogance. Real understanding, real connection to quality needs deep, honest self-assessment, not self-congratulation. It's about the genuine quality of your inner state.
And part of that honesty is seeing ourselves clearly, maybe countering our own negative self-talk.
Yes, definitely. Wherever you go, there you are, points out how our esteem problems stem in large part from our thinking. We see only our shortcomings and blow them out of all proportion.
We focus on the flaws.
Right. So the path to quality involves recognizing our inner goodness to our inherent worth. Finding that balance, it's foundational. If you can't recognize quality within yourself, how can you truly perceive it or create it in the world?
Which leads to the power of our perspective, how we frame things.
Absolutely. Conversations with God makes this incredibly strong claim. Your perspective creates your thoughts, and your thoughts create everything.
Huge. Our perspective creates reality.
In a sense, yes. It shapes our experience profoundly. And learning to control thought by consciously choosing a different, maybe higher perspective, that's called the highest form of prayer in the text.
So consciously shifting our internal lens can actually change the quality we experience.
That's the idea. By choosing to see inherent value, the potential for excellence, we transform not just our perception, but maybe even our external world and the quality we contribute to it.
Okay, that's the crucial inner work. But how do we translate this into actually doing this?
Yeah.
Into everyday actions and craftsmanship?
It starts with something that sounds simple, but is actually incredibly profound. Mindfulness and presence.
Being here now.
Essentially, yes. The power of now encourages taking any routine activity that normally is only a means to an end. Washing dishes, walking upstairs, tightening a bolt, and giving it your fullest attention so that it becomes an end in itself.
Be totally present in the act.
Exactly. And the measure of success isn't speed or efficiency in the usual sense, but the degree of peace that you feel within. That's quality applied in daily life. It transforms chores into meaningful, almost meditative moments.
Imbuing every action with care and purpose.
Right. And this mindful engagement extends to how we care for all our machinery, internal and external.
Like Pirsig with his motorcycle.
Oh.
But other things too.
Oh, yeah. Take Marie Kondo's The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. It's not just about decluttering. She treats tidying as a special event, a rite of passage.
And the key is that spark joy question, right?
Precisely. The yardstick by which you judge is your intuitive sense of attraction. Does it spark joy? That's a direct Pirsigian apprehension of a value, of quality. It's using your gut feeling, your sense of inherent worth, to curate your environment.
It's a physical act of discerning quality. I never thought of it that way.
It really is. Or think about cooking. An everlasting meal brings this amazing philosophy to the kitchen.
How so?
The author notes that the noodle or tender spring pea would be narcissistic to imagine it already contained within its cell walls all the perfection it would ever need.
Oh, okay.
We seem, too, to fear that we are failures if we need to be seasoned. It's not so. It doesn't reflect badly on pea or person that either needs help to be most itself.
That's a beautiful analogy for self-improvement, accepting that we need seasoning, refinement to reach our full quality.
Isn't it? It's about recognizing that growth isn't a sign of failure, but the path to becoming truly ourselves. And the book's focus on using leftovers, using tails, connects to not wasting potential, living fully and mindfully.
Bringing quality to every part of the process.
Exactly. And this mindful engagement, this crafting with quality, it often thrives in community.
It's not just a solo pursuit.
No. The power of ritual highlights places like Artisans' Asylum, these maker spaces where artists, tinkerers, creators share skills, tools, generosity.
What happens there?
Well, learning a new skill like welding gives members the confidence to try something new. Becoming a mentor shapes how members see themselves in the world. It shows how tangible acts of making, shared learning, mutual support that embodies quality in action.
It's a collective effort to bring skill and connection and inherent worth into the world.
Creating a high-quality environment that lifts everyone up.
But underpinning all of this, the inner work, the outer craft, is practice, right? It's not a one-time thing.
Absolutely crucial. You can't just read about quality and get it. The Fifth Agreement hammers this home. Everything you have ever learned, you learn through repetition and practice. The way you are living your life right now is the result of many years of practice.
So developing quality requires consistent effort.
It's the daily grind, the often unglamorous repetition that builds the muscle, the capacity to perceive and generate quality consistently, like Musashi said.
Ah, yes, the swordsman again.
1,000 days of training to forge, 10,000 days of training to refine.
10,000 days.
It takes time. It takes dedication. Pirsig spent countless hours on his bike, not just fixing it, but understanding it, feeling for that point of rightness that only comes through deep engagement and repeated effort. Practice is the path.
And this path, this search for quality, it doesn't stop with things or skills. It extends right into our relationships, how we love.
Deeply so. A return to love talks about needing total commitment in all of our relationships.
Total commitment sounds daunting.
Well, it specifies commitment to the process of mutual understanding and forgiveness, no matter how many conversations it takes.
Okay. It's about committing to the work of the relationship.
Exactly, that deep, sometimes difficult engagement, seeking understanding even through conflict. That's a powerful expression of quality in human connection, valuing the relationship enough to do the work.
And this love can even be transformative in the face of, say, enemies.
That's a radical idea, but yes. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, in The Cost of Discipleship, urges actively engaging in heartfelt love towards him, our enemy. He argues such love comes from strength, not weakness, from truth, not fear.
A high-quality approach to conflict, seeking connection over winning.
Right. And think about the Buddhist practice of Tonglen, described in Radical Acceptance. Breathing in suffering, breathing out care, transforming sorrow in your own heart.
Extending compassion even to those who cause pain.
It's an act of expansive, unifying love, reflecting that deep interconnectedness that quality points towards.
And interestingly, the ability to love others deeply often seems to start with faith in ourselves.
Erich Fromm argues exactly that in The Art of Loving. He defines faith in oneself as believing in an unchangeable core in our personality that persists. This self-trust, he says, enables faithfulness to others.
Because you have a solid foundation within yourself.
Precisely. Fromm says, faith in oneself is a condition of our ability to promise, and since our ability to promise is key to being human, faith is one of the conditions of human existence. That deep self-trust, that reliability stemming from knowing your own core quality, it's foundational for showing up with quality in the world.
And ultimately, all these threads, connection, compassion, self-worth, they seem to tie back to a core spiritual idea of unity.
Yes. Conversations with God puts it very directly. When you see what is in your highest self-interest, you will see that it is that which is also in the highest interest of the other. For you and the other are one.
You and the other are one.
It reinforces that Pirsig's unifying quality isn't just about personal excellence or fixing machines. It's about recognizing our fundamental unity with all of life. True value is inherently shared, interdependent.
Which brings us nicely to our final section, part 4. The River's Wisdom, a holistic vision of quality. After all this wrestling with divisions and seeking the unifying principle, maybe the answer is simpler, more about listening.
That seems to be the direction. Hermann Hesse's Siddhartha provides such a stunning illustration of this. The book culminates with Siddhartha basically becoming nothing but a listener, completely concentrated on listening.
He stopped striving and just listened.
Yeah, he wasn't seeking external answers or intellectual definitions anymore. He just attuned himself to the whole of existence. The text says he heard all voices, all goals, all yearning, all suffering, all pleasure, all that was good and evil. All of this together was the world, the music of life.
Wow, all of it together.
And here's the incredible part. When he finally perceived the whole, the oneness, all that noise resolved into a single sound, a single word.
Oh, the perfection.
It's such a powerful metaphor for experiencing Pirsig's quality, that holistic, non-judgmental grasp of ultimate unity and perfection, where all the complexity resolves into a single, harmonious, inherently good truth, recognizing the underlying value binding it all.
And this resonates with modern ideas about consciousness too, doesn't it?
Very much so. Sam Harris, in Waking Up, talks about the nature of consciousness itself. He explains that consciousness itself is free, no matter what arises to be noticed. Pleasant, unpleasant, it doesn't matter to the underlying awareness.
So the goal of meditation isn't just calm, but recognizing this constant background.
Exactly. Harris says the deeper purpose is to recognize that which is common to all states of experience, those qualities that are intrinsic to consciousness in every present moment. This aligns perfectly with quality as a fundamental aspect of reality, always present, like a background hum of perfection, regardless of the specific thoughts or feelings passing through.
Seeing the pure awareness behind it all.
Yes. And ultimately, this understanding of quality, this direct apprehension, it takes us beyond our usual ways of knowing, beyond language.
Back to the ineffable.
Right. The cloud of unknowing, again, describes divine wisdom as so simple, so general, and so spiritual that it has not entered into the understanding, enwrapped or cloaked in any form or image subject to sense.
You can't grasp it with the senses or intellect alone.
No. The soul cannot speak of it and give it a name, yet it's clearly aware that it is experiencing and partaking of that rare and delectable wisdom. It perfectly captures the experiential, impossible-to-define nature of Pirsig's quality. You know it when you experience it, but you can't easily explain it.
It's a profound mystery, something you feel more than analyze.
Which might be why C.S. Lewis, in Mere Christianity, talks about God eventually landing in force without disguise. He imagines this moment striking irresistible love or irresistible horror into every creature.
Irresistible. No room for debate.
That's the idea. The ultimate truth, when fully revealed, isn't something you choose to believe or not. It's an overwhelming apprehension of reality that simply is. Much like quality, when truly perceived, feels undeniable. You don't argue about it. It just reveals itself with inescapable power and clarity.
Wow. We have covered a lot of ground today. A truly monumental journey, following Robert Pirsig's path, literally and philosophically.
From a cross-country motorcycle trip to the deepest questions of metaphysics.
Yeah, exploring his quest to bridge that gap between the intellectual and the intuitive, the objective and the subjective, all through this profound idea of quality.
And I think what we've really seen is that quality for Pirsig, and echoed in so many other traditions, isn't just an abstract concept or a fancy word for good. It's an experienced, unifying principle. It comes before our analysis, and it informs everything.
You can find it in the meticulous care you give an engine.
Or in being fully present washing the dishes.
Or in the hard work of genuine love and understanding.
Or in that moment of perceiving the fundamental oneness of everything, like Siddhartha hearing the Om.
Pirsig really invites us, through his own intense journey, to see the world differently, to approach everything with an eye for its inherent worth, its potential for excellence.
And this deep dive, I hope, has shown how this isn't just Pirsig's unique obsession. So many different traditions, ancient philosophies, spiritual texts, practical wisdom, they all encourage a similar search for deeper meaning, for integrated understanding.
Urging us to look beyond those easy divisions and embrace a more whole reality.
So the question for you, listening, as you navigate your own life, your own motorcycle maintenance, whatever that looks like for you.
Yeah, here's a final thought to mull over.
What if that ghost in the machine, that elusive something extra, isn't just a metaphor? What if it's an invitation to recognize the inherent quality that truly animates all things, from the tiniest part to the biggest truth?
How would your life actually change?
Yeah, how would it change if you genuinely believed that everything, every single task, every relationship, every moment holds this undeniable spark of perfection, just waiting for your discerning eye, your caring hand to reveal it and bring it fully into the world?
That's definitely a powerful thought to write off with, something that could really redefine the everyday. Until next time, keep diving deep.